Recording in progress.
You ready? Yep. Welcome everybody to the January 8th Subdivision Utility Advisory Board meeting. First item is opening announcements.
Before we begin the agenda, the Wichita-Sedgwick County Metropolitan Area Planning Commission would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to this public hearing. Copies of the agenda for today's meeting, the public hearing procedure, and Planning Department staff reports on all agenda items are available on the counter in the lobby. The Planning Commission's bylaws limit the applicant of a subdivision application and his or her representatives to a total of 10 minutes of speaking time at the start of the hearing on that item, plus up to 2 minutes at the conclusion of that hearing. All other persons wishing to speak on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per person. However, if they feel that it is needed and justified, the Commission may extend these times by a majority vote. All speakers are requested to state his or her name and address for the record when beginning to speak. When you are finished speaking, please share your name, address, and the case number on the sheet provided in the room. This will enable staff to notify you if there are any additional proceedings concerning that item. All speakers at the podium, please remove your face mask before speaking into the microphone.
Thank you. Next item, 1.2 is a roll call.
Yes, sir. Bill Johnson?
Present.
Tony Zimbelman is absent. Bob Duell?
Here.
Jocelyn Klontz? Here. Doug High? Here. Leon Mader?
Here.
John Williams-Bay? Here. Sir, I show 6 members are present and neither of the alternates are.
Thank you. Before we start, item number 2, Subdivision 2025-00064 has been deferred again till January 22nd, so we will not hear that case today. Also, item 4, Subdivision 2025-00071 has been deferred till January 22nd also, so we will not hear that case. So if you're here to hear those, we won't hear them today. So that moves us to item 3, Subdivision 2025-00070, one-step final plat for Baughman 6th Edition. Do we have the staff report, please?
Looks like we're having some technical issues with the microphone.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Greg Sharon, planning staff, here to present the Baughman 6th Edition. If you go to the plat, please. This is a 62-lot residential subdivision within the city, and it is associated with a PUD case number 2024-8, a zone change from TF3 two-family residential to PUD to create the Baughman Edition PUD 127 to allow TF3 uses with greater development flexibility. There are 3 waivers requested by the applicant. The first waiver is from requirement to provide a street sub to unplatted property to the south. Second waiver requested is waiver from maximum number of dwelling units, required 24, requires a 64-foot street right-of-way, and to allow it on 58-foot right-of-way. Third waiver requested is to allow access to streets through reserve strips, and that are reserve strip along Basil Street. Go through staff comments. Item A, City of Wichita Public Works and Utilities, notes regarding water and sewer extension and required fees. Item B, City Stormwater Management. I did get an update that the drainage plan has been submitted and has been approved. So the drainage plan for this plat has been approved. Item C, City Fire, just comments, gates along fire apparatus road will require a gate permit, and the TF3 two-family dwellers require a minimum 24-foot fire apparatus road. Item D, Traffic and Engineering approves of access controls and openings. Item E, City Environmental Health standard comment regarding irrigation wells. Item F, minor changes and to plat and labels. Item G, GIS will need to approve the street names. Item H, county surveying to review comment on final plat. And item I, Evergy will not need to request additional easements. So with that, I will stand for questions.
Any of the commissioners have any questions of the staff? How about advisory board members? Any questions?
Matt Schultz, City Engineering. One additional comment. We'd like to work out with Boffman, potentially adding additional easement, most likely along the reserve to extend sewer to the south to serve future properties.
Anybody else? If not, applicant or agent? Name and address.
Chris Rose, Boffman Company, agent for the applicant, 315 Ellis, Wichita, Kansas, 67211. The applicant does agree with staff comments, and we will update the utility plan per engineering comments and add easements. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of the agent? Seeing none.
Thank you.
Anyone else present wanting to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to pass this with staff comments and engineering comments.
Oh, sorry.
Including the waivers?
Mr. Chairman, yeah, we'd like to pass this with the waivers, with the staff comments, and with the additional engineering comments.
Okay.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. 6, I'm sorry. I can't count this morning. Next item, number 5, is subdivision 2025-00072. One-step final plat, 44th Park Edition.
Good morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff here to present the 44th Park Edition. I handed out a revised plat, so if you could take a look at that. What had changed from the original plat is they added a lot. I believe yesterday they decided to add a lot right in this area. It should not affect anything as far as utilities or access for the plat, so we are presenting that with an additional lot. So this is now a 16-lot subdivision instead of a 15-lot subdivision. So it's within the city. The applicant has submitted a zone change from TF3 to PUD to allow TF3 district and to create a zoning district with unique development standards. There's one waiver requested by the applicant, and that is from the requirement to provide a street stub to unplatted property to the north and west. Go through staff comments. Item A, City Public Works Utilities needs a confirmation letter from Rural Water District Number 1. Comments regarding water and sewer extension and request a utility plan with planned sanitary depths and also additional 30-foot utility easement. Item B, City Stormwater Management drainage plan was submitted and has been approved. Item C, City Fire. Gates along the fire apparatus road will require a gate to fire department, and 2 phone dwellings require a minimum 24-foot fire apparatus road. Traffic engineering, text change and approves of access controls and openings. Item E, standard environmental health comment regarding irrigation wells. Item F, planning, just some changes to notes. Item G, GIS to approve street names. Item H, county surveying advises legal description needs to include both 44th Street courts. And item I, Evergy's reviewed the plat and will not need to request additional easements. So with that, I will stand for questions.
Okay, I got a question. You're saying that verification of water from rural water district number 1, but then the city is requiring fire hydrants, so I'm confused.
Chris from the City of Wichita Public Works. This used to be in rural water district. I don't remember which one it is. One maybe?
One.
Okay. We had taken over service territory from them, so we just want to make sure there aren't any existing water meters on site, and then we will be extending water mains and fire hydrants into this development.
Thank you. Yeah, John.
Will access to Lot 10 be off of 44th Street?
No, access, well, yes, access will be off of 44th Street. Is that what you're asking? Okay, yes, yeah. There is no access off of North Webb Street.
Okay, thank you.
Any other commissioners have any questions? Comments?
Oh, I think city stormwater, I think there's some issues with that new lot being added that have to be changed, but I'll let Joseph comment on
Board
that.
members? Joe, you got?
Yeah, just one point. I understand the engineer wants to revise the drainage plan I've already approved because of this extra lot. And we'd like to just do that and put that document in the file. It'll be approved early next week, not hold up this moving towards next week's meeting, so all is well.
Thank you. Any other advisory board members? Thank you. Applicant or agent? Name and address.
Kirk Miller, K.E. Miller Engineering, I'm the agent, address 117 East Louis. We're fine with staff comments. One of the comments, though, has to do with the fire apparatus gate. I'm not sure what he's referring to. These are, actually, it's going to be a platted street. So we wouldn't have a gate out there, it'd be an open road. But otherwise, I think we're good with everything.
Okay.
We have a PUD going to Planning Commission next week on this, for this property.
And will you have enough time to get the drainage plan revised?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Commissioners have any comment? Questions? Advisory board members? Is there anyone else present wanting to speak on this item? Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve per staff comments.
Second.
And that includes a waiver? One waiver.
In the waiver.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Passes 6-0. next case is item number 6, vacation case 2025 00056, 2920 West 16th Street North.
Good morning, Samuel Dietz, presenting planner. Vacation 2025-00056 is a request to vacate a 30 by 264 foot platted right-of-way located on the north side of West 16th Street North, abutting lots 1 and 2 of the Watt addition. It's generally located north of West 16th Street North and 1,600 feet west of North Meridian. At the time the plat was dedicated, the 30-foot right-of-way for Pleasant View Drive was dedicated. However, no adjacent subdivisions dedicate any right-of-way, and it has remained unimproved. Because the right-of-way is only shown in the Watt addition and not the Sheridan Acres addition to the west, the vacated right-of-way would only be transferred to the owners of the adjacent property in the Watt addition. Wichita Public Works and Utilities do not support vacating the right-of-way. The right-of-way contains a 6-inch water line and a water meter. Vacating the right-of-way would eliminate vehicular and water service access to the parcels located to the rear of 2920 West 16th Street and 1714 North Custer. Additionally, changing the right-of-way to an easement is not supported, as required width and additional conditions would effectively make it function as a right-of-way. Traffic engineering does not object, but did request an access easement over the vacation area. Fire and stormwater do not object, nor do any of the franchise utilities. Staff did receive one public comment from a neighbor that was concerned that the vacation request would allow for development of the back parcel at 2920 West 16th. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions of staff by the commissioners? How about the advisory board members? Any questions or comments? Thank you. Applicant or agent? Oh, I messed up.
I guess we weren't prepared to speak, so we're not too sure what questions.
Give us your name and address, please.
My name is Bianca Rosas and Benjamin Rosas, 2920 West 16th Street North.
Okay.
You guys can describe your project or just kind of state your request and why you're wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So we just recently moved into 2920. When we moved in, prior to purchasing the home, we saw that right-of-way was there, and we asked to see who simply, if it was part of the property or not. We were notified that it wasn't. So really, because it wasn't, there is access to the back of our property through that right-of-way. I do want to develop, per se, a bigger garage towards the rear of the property. And I guess I just want to avoid any unrestricted access to the back, as far as like, other places you see people dumping and other stuff, just people going back there, and that's just like a big security thing for us as well. But that's a majority of why we're trying to vacate that right away. And we don't plan on necessarily developing like another home back there, so we are open to trying to potentially maybe do what the water public is suggesting.
Could you take the mouse and show us where your lot is?
Yes. So our home is right here.
Okay.
The second lot is back here, and the lot divides right here.
Right here.
Yeah, well, there's that.
And where will the garage be built?
Back here.
Okay.
I'm assuming you own both lots?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Any other questions of the applicant? How about the advisory board? Any additional questions, comments? Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? Please come forward and give us your name and address, please.
Good morning. My name is Alan Funk, and I live at 1720 Custer, and I'm at the north end to the west side. I sit on a double lot, and my simple opposition to it is I have a city manhole access to the sewers, which the only access to that sewer is through my back double gates. I did send pictures to Samuel Dietz a couple weeks ago. Don't know if he got them or not, but I do have a set of double gates that butt up to Pleasant View. As recently as April of 2025, third-party vendor for the city did have to access through there to work on my sewer. So my opposition is because of it restricts opposition to the manhole cover that's in my backyard. And my property sits on two lots. On my property, you can't access that with big equipment through the front because on one side, I've got a carport, and on the other side, I've got an air conditioner, which prevents. Now, most of the time, I did talk to the water department. Most of the time, they're not going to need to get heavy equipment in there, and it's very rare that they do. But I've also recently constructed a very expensive fence. I would prefer to leave the access I have for them to get in there and not have to do any damage to my fence.
Now, is this gonna be retained as an easement?
I'm sorry?
I'll defer to Public Works, but I believe the comment in the staff report was that retaining it as an easement was not supported. Because of the width of it, it effectively would function as a right-of-way. I'll defer to Public Works on possibly elaborating on that.
So that water line currently serves, he has a meter hooked up to it on the west side of his house. It's not hooked up to anything else, but it does provide water access to the parcel in the rear of him, and it also provides access to the parcel behind 1714. And so a 30-foot wide easement would need to be granted to keep both, at least the one 1714's rear access, to keep the access, sorry. And also vehicular access would need to be granted as well. So, I mean, it functions as a right-of-way. We'd like to keep it as a right-of-way. However, it's a dead-end main. If he does not intend on developing that back lot and he somehow binds those lots together and can talk to his neighbor about possibly binding their lots together, there is no need for this water main. And so we would agree to vacating it if the applicant can remove the need for it and killing the water main so he can have the whole land to himself and it doesn't need to be shared with anybody.
Yeah, Bob.
Can you show us where your house is and where the manhole is?
Yes, this is my property here. See that? And then the manhole cover, I sit on two lots. This is the manhole cover right here, the access. And this side of my house is, again, there's a carport here. This side I've got an air conditioner. Right now, the only access that got is through this alley and through a set of double drive gates that I have here.
Thank you.
This is unusual. What's our options?
Well, I believe you've got options. You can obviously approve or deny. Those are the
Right.
two obvious ones. And then the third one, I believe, would be to approve it with an easement, which has been discussed. It sounds like that's not preferable, but that is a third option.
Elaborating on the second point, it sounds like from Public Works that, let me back up a second. So the applicants own two platted lots. They were platted as two lots, but it functionally acts as one, but right now they are separate and could be developed separately some other time in the future with a different owner or something like that. My understanding is there's water meters in this area for the back property that doesn't have a dwelling on it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is if you effectively combine the lots and remove the water meter, then there's less opposition to it. Is that correct, Chris?
There is no meter for it. However, we do need to maintain that main to provide access to it.
Sure. So, yeah, they need to functionally act as one property so that development can't happen in the back. So there is a way to work with the appraiser's office to combine their tax parcels as one tax parcel, so effectively there is not a second developable lot back there.
Matt Schultz, City Engineering. And so everything you said is correct, but I believe there's a second lot back there and a second homeowner that essentially is in the same situation. So, they would need to lock their two lots together as well.
Right, and that's not this gentleman up front. He has one large lot. I think the lot south of him is platted as two lots.
Yes, correct.
So if we're looking on the screen here, this gentleman has the one with the circle, because he's got the manhole. The property south of him, there is a second lot in the rear that butts up against this right of way, but those individuals are not present. And
Yes, so what you said is also correct. But then the person south of that is the owner of that other back lot.
But even if the owner here combines his two parcels, then it need to be more than just a tax merger. We need a restrictive covenant. We would still need a 30-foot wide easement to provide access to that other rear lot. So even if he does it, the main would still need to be there unless he can get them to also combine their parcels together.
right, and then also an access easement so that it allows for access to that other lot too. So there's a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
I mean, I think that explains why Public Works essentially was not in favor, just because there's a lot of things essentially out of the applicant's control in order to accomplish making sure that the water line is well protected and doesn't need to be serving other people and things like that.
Why wasn't the easement a good option?
My understanding from Chris is that you have to have a 30-foot utility easement to protect the line, but then you also have to have an access easement because that right-of-way serves other lots that could be developed separately at this point. So I think their perspective is if you have a 30-foot wide utility and access easement that's providing access, why don't we just keep it as a right-of-way?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak on this item? Anybody else? Okay, you can have some rebuttal time here.
Okay, I just kind of wanted to summarize to make sure that we, like, my husband and I also understand what's going on. So obviously our house is right here. The property that you were discussing about having another second lot, this is the home, right? And so she owned 1708 owns this and this little section right here. So what we're understanding is that this property on this L-shaped section right here would need to combine their lots, as we would also need to combine our lots. So we would need to make it one parcel and they would need to make it one parcel. That or something was suggested as far as like a restrictive covenant, which we're not too familiar with. And then our understanding is that this water line only services this lot. In reference to our neighbor's comment here, they did put up a new fence. They do have a gate back here. My understanding that he mentioned is that his manhole sits a lot further up on this back property. So although we do understand, it more so sounds like maybe just an inconvenience of having this closed. We have been maintaining this property since we moved in here, even though it's not ours. There's about 4 trees, one of which was falling on our house, and so we had to cut it. So we paid for that out of pocket. So there are several things that we have been maintaining that are, I feel like it's our responsibility since it's right next to us. However, it is and it's not. So we are willing to take on the responsibility and cap the water line that's only servicing us. Obviously, if our neighbor is also willing to do, in order to agree with doing that as well.
Okay, any questions of the applicant?
Just a couple comments. Your discussion concerning the southern property owner owning that little piece, I believe they actually own, all the lot, pretty much all the way to the sanitary sewer, the green line. Correct, yeah. And then also, just for your information, general city rules is that you are required to maintain adjacent right-of-way to your property. So, just like everybody else, they cut the grass, between the sidewalk and the curb. This is also considered right-of-way and would be your maintenance responsibility.
Yeah.
Again, Benjamin, her husband, I guess it just seems a little, I don't know if it's the right word, but silly, but I mean, that is a whole, like that's quite a bit to maintain just for.
And just like your neighbor to the southeast or the northwest of, what is that, 16th and St. Paul, it's a corner lot. They have to do the whole stretch. It's just.
Yeah, they're elderly. I doubt they're going to want to try and do that.
Regardless, it just so you know, that's the city code. So.
Okay, thank you.
And I just had a clarification. A restrictive covenant is a legal document. It's fairly simple. All it would say is you're the legal owner of Lot 2, which is in the back, and Lot 1, and essentially that document, when signed and notarized and recorded with the Register of Deeds, essentially binds the two together to function as one. So it's not some major legal process. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And again, we are in agreement to try that. We have tried to make contact with the other neighbor, but I don't know if she's just not home or out of town. So we have not made contact with her about if this is something she's willing to help out with, I guess.
Any other questions?
So that would be another option?
I believe so. You could approve it subject to a restrictive covenant being put in place first.
Thank you.
Well, sorry, just quick comment. We would need 2 though, right? One for their property and then one for the.
If the applicant can come back, we got a question.
It appears to me like this is something that can work, but right now really isn't going to work like you need it to. Would you be willing to withdraw for now this application, work with your neighbor and see if you can accomplish the things that Public Works is talking about? And if you can accomplish all of that, you could come back, and seems like it'd be pretty easy to do at that point. I think it'd be better for you to defer today than to be rejected, and try to come back if you can get that homework done.
Scott?
Yeah, a couple of things to consider about that, and Philip and I were discussing that, is that if they withdrew or if they get denied, then they'll have to pay, and they come back and they want to do it again, they'll have to resubmit, which would require another fee for them to do it. An option, though, that would keep them from having to pay an additional fee would be to defer it for a period of time. That would give them some time to try and work this out, and then if they're not able to do that, then you would have, again, the same options about approve, deny, or do it with some conditions.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would really like to see it deferred, and I'd be willing to make that motion if that works for you, because then you can get some homework together, and I think you know more about what you need to do. Would
Yeah,
that
I think
work
we're
for
in
you?
agreement with the deferment. as long as there's no other fees associated with them, they were totally fine because we're several $1,000s in already.
That's what we're trying to avoid here. Thank
Yeah.
you, Scott.
So our understanding is just making sure that our neighbor is in agreement with combining her lots and just understands that no further development can be made to that. And, yeah, I mean, we're willing to pay what we need to pay for, so if she agrees.
I would suggest you continue to visit with staff because they know what we've all talked about.
Yeah.
None of it makes sense to me, or a small piece of it. It all makes sense to them.
And this one is a little bit of a unique situation, so you can see the dialogue and how unique it is. I think the question that then, if a deferral is preferred, then the question comes up about how long. Some ready options would be 30 days or 60 days. If it's 30 days, then it would be to February 5th. If it's 60 days, then it's March 5th. So those are a couple options. We can also explore more if you'd like.
And I also just want to make it clear, though, if you do this, that we would ask that main be retired and the water meter be relocated, so that is additional cost as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob?
So this deferral
Hey,
would include
hang
working
on.
out something with your neighbor, right? The deferral would include working out something with your neighbor that we were talking about, correct?
Yes, the neighbor that owns
Thank you.
this whole lot here.
Any other questions of the applicant? Thank you. Oh, wait, go
I
ahead.
just have one. So you heard the 2 dates. Kind of depends on, if you want to make this happen sooner than later, but sounds like to get a hold of the neighbor might be a little difficult. Is 60 days okay or 30 days? Which would you like to try to attempt?
Just because we haven't, we tried at least 3 or 4 times to make contact with her, but she hasn't been home. So I think 60 days would give us more than enough time to kind of
Figure something out.
Yeah, I would like to say 30, but I just wouldn't. I would hate to come back and still say, hey, I haven't spoken to her.
John, did you have anything? That was your, any other questions?
I guess.
Thank you.
I guess I do have one more. If I was able to get a hold of her sooner, is there a way to reach out to you guys to maybe expedite it, or maybe she says no, then
We'll let Scott.
That's an interesting question. We would have to look into it more and consult with legal, but perhaps an option would be then to put consideration of placing this on a future item as part of put it on another agenda, an agenda item on the subdivision meeting to consider rescheduling this to another date. Sorry, it's a little complicated, but we cannot hear it until this body has decided when it would be.
Okay, understand. Okay, thank you guys.
Hey, would you also agree to give this gentleman back here access to his backyard?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. I don't know how that would work, but.
Yeah.
Just an access easement?
I think what we understood was, because we plan on, if we were to take over this land here, putting up a fence, just because, we don't want strangers walking through there either. And the fence needs to be, a certain amount of feet from the other properties that are there. So it would allow for plenty of space if somebody were wanting to still get through. We would not be objected to, letting them go in and out if they needed to.
And we can also put that in legal writing or something if needed.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bring it back to the commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to make a motion that we defer this for 60 days.
And that's a March 5th meeting.
To March 5th.
And we got a second? Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? It passes 6-0. Next case is item 7, vacation 2025-00057.
Samuel Dietz, presenting planner. Vacation 00057 is a request to vacate a 1,500 square foot portion of a front platted building setback. The property is located at north of East Christie Place and 2,000 feet west of North Oliver, and is addressed as 4046 East Christie. The purpose of the request is to remove an existing encumbrance and to allow for a carport in front of the existing garage. An administrative adjustment would be required to allow the carport in front of the dwelling. The proposed setback would vary from the existing 50 feet, which would remain on either side of the dwelling, to 46 feet across 84 feet of the frontage of the dwelling, and go down to a minimum of 4 feet where the carport is proposed. The Unified Zoning Code requires a minimum front setback of 25 feet. Therefore, the applicant's request would encroach into the minimum front setback by 21 feet where the carport is proposed, but the remaining 129 feet of frontage would exceed the minimum front zoning setbacks. There are no public utilities in the vacation area. Public Works and Utilities, Traffic Engineering, Fire and Stormwater do not object, nor do any of the franchise utilities. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions of staff by the commissioners? Yeah, John.
Yeah, I went by this site yesterday. How large of a carport are they proposing? Are they proposing to have it at the total of the 46 feet?
I will have to defer to the applicant, but based on the change in setbacks, it would be allowed up to a maximum of 24 by 46.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of staff? How about the advisory board members? Any questions, comments? Thank you. Applicant or agent? Name and address.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Brian Lindeback, MKEC Engineering, on behalf of the owner and applicant who is here and present to answer any specific questions that you might have. The carport is intended to cover that space that's in where the driveway is, and it'll be an open carport that will, basically provide protection to the vehicles that he parks there regularly. As an aside, he has reached out to all the neighboring properties, and all of the neighboring properties are consenting to it and have signed a letter consenting to that carport. And with that, I'll stand for any questions you might have.
Any questions of the agent or the applicant, since he's here?
Yeah, Brian,
Yeah.
how tall is this carport going to be?
I could probably just 10 feet at the entrance, and it'll match with the existing architecture there. I don't know if you've seen the site. It's got a lot of landscaping, so it probably be somewhat obscured by all the landscaping that's there.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody present wanting to speak on this item? Anybody want to speak on this? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve per staff comment.
Got a motion? Do I have a second? Second. Got a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Passes 6-0. With that said, is there any other business that we need to deal with? Okay, Scott?
Yes, sir. There's just the regular note that we still have the consent agenda and also the application checklist for y'all to consider. So anytime that you have questions or you feel comfortable, if you want to approve that, then we can go ahead and start using that with our applications. But certainly no rush on that. Just wanted to make a quick note that it's still there.
Anything else?
I have a question for Brian. So as an example of today's meeting, how would that go with a consent?
Sure. It's just an option, but one option would be to do it very similar to how the MAPC meeting occurs, where you ask if anyone wants to hear an item, and if not, then it's approved. So that would give an opportunity for staff to weigh in, for members of the public, or even for applicants if they find that there's something that they want to object or change.
I just want to say that I feel like the full planning commission meetings went very well with that procedure. You know, as long as we can pull an item off, no matter which one it is, I think it'll work very well. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. With that, we're adjourned. Hey, John. We're gonna build a classroom, multi-purpose area for the church, Catholic Church, St. Rose. You don't like Joseph? Down by Cheating Lake. Okay, yeah. King and Town